This is Grow Your Faith, a podcast dedicated to bringing you encouragement from God's Word. Every week, this show will dive into inspirational teachings that will give your spirit the boost it needs. We weren't called to go through this life alone, so let's dive in together with our hosts, Pat Milligan and Michael Chestnut.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our show, Grow Your Faith. I'm Michael Chestnut here with Pat Milligan. Pat, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Mike. How are you doing?
I am doing good. So we are on episode part 3 or 4. I can't remember. Part 4. Okay. So Pat, I'm just going to hand it over to you this morning.
Okay, Mike. Good to be with you today. And Mike, congratulations on your book coming out.
Thank you.
And that's going to be another great blessing to people and so on.
Yes, it's exciting.
Great. Today we're on part 4 of our lesson of Trust the Lord. Our key verse is Proverbs 3:6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. We looked the last 3 weeks, on 4 little words with the word everything. In everything, for everything, and through everything. Today we're going to look at the 4th one. I should say with everything. Today we're going to look at through everything. Everything we do is you look to God. See, you're willing to trust the Lord when things are going well. Everything's great. You're on top of the mountaintop. But then we fail to trust him when tough time comes. Tough times going to come in your life sometime. Someone might be under our voice today might experience some tough times in your life. Let me tell you, trust the Lord in it. He will help you get through it. I can remember one time, I won't go through all the situation, but in my life, that where I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm just telling you that, I've done things wrong in my life, but what I'm saying? I didn't do anything wrong, but everything was pointing to me like I was the bad guy. And that was a tough time in my life because at that time I just felt like just giving up. But then I realized that I need to trust God in everything, no matter what it is, good or bad. I need to trust him. And I remember talking to my wife, and we had a discussion on it, and God definitely worked it out after that. It's a matter that sometimes you everything's pointing at you, but you need to trust God. And I'm telling you today, trust him in the midst of the trials. Those trials are going to come in our life. Things will come in our life. We're going to know what should I do. I just don't know what to do, but God can help you get through it. And I remember this whole thing that I went through. I have to look back now and say, thank God for that, because God, I trusted him. God helped me get through that and everything. And it worked itself out after that. I don't know if it ever worked out those people that pointed things, but you know what I'm saying, in my life, I felt that it helped me out, and I had to go on. But also, testings, God has a purpose in everything. When something comes in our life, it's like a test in our life. Like, remember tests you had in school? Big tests you had to have it to pass, and all that. And just like in our everyday life, this is a test. There's going to be some tests in your life that you're going to have to ask God to help you get through that, and God can help you get through it. And as I look at this thing, my biggest point today is trust him through everything. Just today, just say, Lord, whatever you'd have for me, I want to do it. Sometimes we don't feel like doing anything, but we trust God, and God helps us get through that. And with this 4-part lesson of trusting God, it's so important that we just trust him in everything that we do. It's like I mentioned this in one of the other lessons, not in trying, but trusting. We try. I'm going to try to do things for God today. I'm going to try to do it. But you know what? It's not me trying. It's me trusting him in everything. And it's not by running, but resting. Sometimes we want to run and get away from things. But what we really need to do, we need to rest in God. Let God have control of it. Just stop and say, "Hey, I'm stopping here. I'm tired of running from the things that I've been running from, and I'm going to just I'm just going to rest in God." And then not by wondering, but by praying. Praying, we'll find the strength of the Lord. And I'm saying to you this morning, find the strength of the Lord today. Have God help you in things that you're going through today. I don't know. Mike doesn't know, but God knows. And that's all that matters, that God knows your situation, and he will help you get through that this week. Thank you.
Yep. Pat, thank you so much. And, it's in the simple steps of obedience, isn't it? Sometimes we make things a little bit harder, and just trusting God seems to be a big challenge to us sometimes, but it also is one of the simplest things that we can do in our life too. I think we tend to make things more complicated sometimes, but I'm one of those guys that likes to have all the answers. And sometimes God doesn't want me to have all the answers. He wants me to trust him and rely on him for that next step. And so, Pat, thank you again for a great morning with this. And to our listeners, until next week, just keep growing your faith. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for tuning in to the Grow Your Faith podcast with Pat Milligan and Michael Chestnut, your weekly dose of encouragement from God's Word. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And we'll see you next week right here on Grow Your Faith.